This is a family ornament, or you can just make it as Santa's family ornament. It doesn't have to be your family. This is what we'll be using, so let's get started. We're going to cut our hook first. Get that out of the way. And as you can see, I've rolled out a sheet of green clay, and we're going to use this as a backing for the ornament because it's a good size ornament. It's probably 3 by 4 inches, and I think it needs a backing because there's so many elements on this. And most of the ornaments have been quick and easy. This one's going to take a little more time, and but hey, it's still going to be easy. Just follow along with me. First thing we're going to do is roll out the bodies for Santa and Mrs. Santa. And we're going to put them next to each other. And we've made these bodies many, many times. I'm going to trim some of the clay. And this will be the size of our ornament. It might be a little bit more, but that's our basic size. Now, you may want to wash your hands after using the red clay. And I've told you that before. Now we're going to make the 2 balls for the heads. I use the beige Sculpey for this. Super Sculpey, excuse me. I use the beige Super Sculpey for that. And remember, don't make them flat. Keep them round. And we're going to do the collar on Mrs. Santa's dress. She has that old-fashioned lace-looking collar. That's pretty easy to do. Just kind of texture it with the knitting needle. And if you have a different way that you want to do it, that's fine too. We just want to give it that lacy look. Now we're going to do Mr. Santa's beard. And again, if you don't want to make the beard this way, if you've watched the video on the 5 different ways to make Santa heads, you may find a different way you want. If you watch that, you may want to do the beard a different way, which is fine. Santa's hat. Yes, I did roll the white clay without cleaning my hands. Shame on me. Do the ball of the hat. Now we're going to trim some more clay. We're going to do Mrs. Santa's hairdo. She's going to have an old granny style hairdo with the top knot on top of her head, which I think is quite cute. Now we're just going to lay some white on her head. Make an indentation in the middle and then just texture it so it looks like the hair is going down. See, make sure she does not have a bald spot. That looks good. Now we're going to roll out a rope and fold it over on itself. See? And then twist. And then we're going to kind of coil that up like we're making a little basket. And that goes on top of her head. Just make sure you have it well connected. You got to blend it in a little bit. Now this is a good time to put the hook in, or hanger, whatever you call it. And try to put it in a little bit straighter than I did. There I go, I fixed it. It's still a little crooked, but it's okay. It'll work. And then we're going to do a bow for Mrs. Claus. I wonder if Mrs. Claus has a first name. Is it Clara? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever heard her first name. Any of you know, put it down in the comments. I'd love to know. I don't know, Clara Claus. That doesn't really sound that good. Or does it? I don't know. We're going to do Santa's mustache. Now, I believe I textured it before I attached it to his face. Yes. But you can do it also after you've put it on his face. This just makes it a little bit easier. And make sure you do the ends, just roll them up a little. Don't make his mustache like just straight. You want it to look a little natural. And their noses, just little tiny noses. Don't make them too big. Now we're going to trim some more clay. Just putting some white buttons on. And remember, Santa is at home with Mrs. Claus and the elves, so he's not wearing his big old Santa outfit. Now I'm adding this clay to bring it up to where the bodies are. Because if I put the elves on without putting this on, they would kind of go down into the abyss there below the bodies, and we don't want to do that. Right, now we're going to cut out the star. And yes, I will have a star and holly leaves and berries on this ornament. This is a very bright yellow I used here, but I think it was nice. I like the bright yellow on this one. But I use bright yellow on most of them. I just like it. Oh, excuse me. Now, the arms will be holding up the bag, which you'll see. We're going to do 3 elves on this. If you want to make this like a Christmas family ornament for yourself, you can put in as many elves as you want, but I kind of went with 3. Because I don't really personalize this ornament. And to be honest, I never made this ornament to sell at the craft shows. I just made this for the videos. So a lot of the designs I have, well, not a lot, but some of them are designs that I did not sell at the craft shows because I was already done doing craft shows when I started doing the videos. But most of the designs I show on the videos, I have sold at the craft shows. Now the elves are holding up the stars, so we're doing their arms this way. Now we're going to do little teardrop shapes for the collars on the elves. Yeah, this is a long video, guys. I hope you can hang with me to the end. I think this ornament is one that you would make for people who pre-order it. You wouldn't want to make a bunch of these and put them out at the craft show. I'm going to make the little elf heads. Remember, keep them round. Do not flatten them. I think I'm going to have to do a video where I show you what I mean about people flattening their heads. And since this is such a long video, I'm going to talk a little bit about a few other things. Um, and you know what? I just had a senior moment and totally forgot what I wanted to talk to you about. Oh my, it'll come back to me. Oh yes, it came back to me. I just wanted to tell you that this is the way I make ornaments, and I'm sure there are many other ways that people make ornaments, and this is the way I do it. It works for me. I hope it works for you. Might not work for other people, and other people may have different methods, but This is how I do it. So we do a little more trimming. We're kind of getting the shape of the bag here. Now this is a bunch of scrap clay. I have so much scrap clay, and well, you'll find out when you work a lot with this clay that you're going to have a lot of scraps. So I am putting the scrap clay under my little elves, and it's so that my bag looks like it's full, so it doesn't just lay there flat. Now you can also, instead of the scrap clay, you could put in maybe some aluminum foil. But if you don't know what to do with your scrap clay, there you go. And I'm going to roll the black clay through the pasta machine. And I wouldn't do the thickest setting, but I wouldn't do the thinnest one either. And I have an Atlas pasta machine, and I've had it for, oh gosh, over 30 years. Can you imagine? Oh, it's a hard worker. And pasta machines have come and gone, and I didn't like any of them, and I go right back to my old Atlas. It's an Atlas 150. It's great. Excellent, excellent machine. And you notice we have not done the third elf yet. He's going to come after the bag is done. Now we're going to trim around, get the excess off, and then just shape it in with your hands. There we go. Just take your time shaping it, no rush. Now this is going to be our next little elf, and you're only going to see his head and his hands sticking out. So he's peeking out of the bag. Now we have to put their little hats on, and you don't have to make them too big, just little hats with the little pointy heads. My clay was a little too soft, and I've been bumping on that star. He's looking a little rough. All right, we'll make our third little hat. Now the little ears, just make some little teardrop shapes. Don't make them too big. And take your time doing this. Don't rush it. If you try to rush a project, you always end up taking more time than you need to because you're going to mess up at some point if you rush. So just take your time. Now, this is like the bag doesn't really have a lip, but you know, when you have stuff in a bag, it kind of, I don't know. Don't know how to explain that, but it's just the top of the bag. And Mr. and Mrs. Claus are going to be holding the bag with the elves in it. But we could also think that maybe Mr. and Mrs. Claus are in the bag with the elves. That's a possibility. Now we have Mrs. Claus holding the bag underhanded. Mr. Claus is going to be holding the bag overhanded. I think I said that right. Underhand and overhand. Yeah. Now we're going to make a candy cane rope, and that's going to be the sash around the bag, or the drawstring. Or well, I don't know if it'd be a drawstring, but yeah, it might be. I don't know. But we've done this before. Roll a white rope, roll a red rope, put them together, and twist. And this is where we're going to be putting our holly leaves and berries. You don't have to texture the leaves if you don't want to. They look perfectly okay without getting the texture. Almost done. We are getting there. These are the cuffs on their outfits. Just a little added detail. I just think it looks nice. Oh, I forgot Mrs. Claus's nose. Oh no. Oh, she gets a little ear. Just make a little indentation in that with the end of the paintbrush. I thought I didn't see her nose. Aha. Little noses for the elves. That's a bit of a challenge because they have to be very small. Now you see what I do there? I roll it out into a little point, and then you can take off the little pieces for the noses. Makes it a little bit easier. You know, now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe we should have had Rudolph looking over Mrs. Claus's shoulder. That would have been kind of cool. If you want to do that, you can add it. Just put his head there. See, the little elf just has his hands sticking out. He's peeking out. I'm doing the mouth. You can paint it on if you prefer. And here comes the blush. Blush before you bake. Blush before you bake. Blush before you bake. Remember that. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, you will, when you watch them, you will see that I say that every time. And don't overdo the blush. I may have put on a little too much so you could see it in the video, but you don't want to overwhelm their faces with blush. We're almost done. Oh, I think we are done. Now, remember, bake it according to the instructions on your package of clay, because you all probably use different kinds of clay. So follow the instructions on your package. Paint on the details once it has cooled off. There's the back. You see the backing? And that's it. I hope you enjoyed making that. And remember, if you ever have any questions, just email me. or ask in the comments, either way. And there it is, finished and baked. And you notice I made Santa's eyes a little bit differently. It looks like he's laughing. So until the next time, that's it, guys. Bye.